And Darshana Ubl, thank you very much for joining us. Darshana, I believe you've got a really, really exciting business that you're going to talk us through along the journey to help our members understand how travel in Europe has been affected, particularly for Verve Rally over the last 6 to 12 months, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me here. It's a great honor to be able to share all the experiences we've had with travel over the last 12 to 18 months. It's been a roller coaster, but I'm here with some very good news. That's it. Where there's a will, there's a way. So, yeah. So in terms of my business, it's Verve Rally. So we are a GT supercar travel company. What we do is we have a group of people who are car enthusiasts who come and join us for a jolly. We go down on a grand tour to one of the countries or 2 or 3 countries in Europe. We've done as much as 7 countries in 9 days before. Although we just recently, a couple of weeks back, returned back from Croatia, Montenegro, via Bosnia. Took a bunch of about 30 people and had a tremendously amazing time. So, on this session, I hope to, dwell into a little bit more information or details of how you can travel too.
Brilliant. And so is it that you take the supercars across on a boat, or is it you actually fly to hook up with the supercars when you get there?
So our start line was in Split, Croatia. So usually when our start line is in Spain or other countries, we drive it and we go through a ferry. So there's a very cool ferry that goes to Spain. It's quite easy. For France, we would go through the Eurotunnel, and driving your own cars down, it's not a problem. But with Croatia, it's a little bit far away. So there were some cars that were trucked down, but most of the cars were brought there from, some of them were hire cars, some of them were owned cars. So they were brought in trailers onto the start point, and from there we proceeded on.
Fantastic. And so you might walk us through a typical 24 hours on the Verve Rally, if you don't mind, Darshana. Just my vision's you're sitting in a car for about 12 hours driving, but I doubt it's that arduous a task, is it?
No, not 12 hours for sure. It's like about 4.5 to 5 hours daily. So with a little break in the middle, so it's 2.5 hours. It's quite enjoyable. So typically 24 hours. So interesting. You want to start from the night time or daytime?
I think we'll have to end with the night time, is it?
Okay, fine. Let's start with the day then. So you wake up and you have this really nice leisurely breakfast at a 5-star hotel, which you're staying at. And we select some really good hotels where you have local food too, and a huge range of food for breakfast. So you have that. And then typically you have a 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock briefing, depending on how late you went to bed the night before. So let's say it's a 10 a.m. briefing. So you'd have a briefing on what's going to happen on that day. A huge part of the rally is about being in the present. So we don't tell people what's happening every day. We just tell them what's happening on that day. And that's all they need to remember. So they come in there and then we go through, okay, these are the key points. This is where we're going to start. This is where we're ending. These are the maps, all the details. They have it in a folder, and that's their day. So they also have walkie-talkies, etc., which are given to them, which are charged up, etc., by the team. And then they check out from the hotel, and by 11 o'clock, they're in their cars, ready to roll. And everyone's super excited. The music's going, and all the cars are lining up. And we had some beautiful colors of cars. Of course, we had Ferraris, Lamborghinis. We had one Audi R8 in this one. But a lot of bulls and horses. But the colors were magnificent. There were yellows, greens, reds, and blues. It was beautiful. Then we follow the route, and there's certain adventures that happen on the way. There's walkie-talkie banter, beautiful scenery as we go through those winding roads. Some of them are coastal, some of them are up the hill or mountains. Beautiful. And then we come across a few border crossings, and we have paperwork for that. So I'll go through what paperwork we went through. But it was phenomenal. And then after that 4.5 hour, 5 hour drive, listening to your best music, seeing visually what, the cars in front of you, behind you, the people's reaction to it. It's just magnificent. It's what dreams are made of. And then we get to our next destination, which is probably, so from Split, we went to Dubrovnik, so another place. The next day after that, we went to Montenegro, which is another country. So anyway, so you get to the new place, you get into your secure car park, and then there's time to go have a dip in the pool. Or if you want to, we choose places which are in the city center too. So you can walk around, do what you want. It's free and easy till it's dinner time, which is around 8:39. And then again, you have a nice 3-course meal, seated with some of your new friends or friends you come with, and a bit of entertainment, partying, which goes on till maybe 11:30, 12. This current trip, we had 12 o'clock restriction because everything had to close in Croatia after 12. This works really well for us, but again, people come back and they have a good 8 hours sleep, start with breakfast, and do it all again. And after a few days of that, something moves in your head. You just go like, life is actually fun. It's great, and whatever challenges that are going to be thrown at you, to be able to deal with them, because internally your mindset is really happy and it's very content and it's exploring. So it's all about exploration.
And so can I ask, obviously you've done this for a few years, and so what has the impact of the last 18 months been for you, for your business, and indeed for the people who come and join you on those great rallies?
To be honest, the last 18 years for any travel business has been a struggle. So Verve Rally was started in 2016 and was passionate. It just grew from one thing to another. 2019 was a fabulous year with 3 supercar rallies and charity galas and an event every month, to coming into 2020 where all the events stopped. And from the 3 rallies we had planned, we went for 1. We did 1 every year. This year we did 1. So basically plans did change. The industry has been affected. Personally, I kind of understand why they locked down initially when they didn't quite know what the virus was all about. But now, to be honest, like recent news I've seen in Australia, they have 22 cases. And instead of self-isolating those cases, 22 cases, they've locked down the whole, state. So I just don't see, as a logical person, I don't see how we're allowing this to happen. And I think we need to have a conversation with our MPs to say, actually, this impact on travel and other businesses is very long term. We need to be probably smart about it going forward. But yes, so there was a huge impact for most people. And I've got letters. I can actually show you a letter just here, which came in yesterday or on Saturday. And that was about the impact we've had on people's lives, how much they appreciated going on this trip with other people, the mindset shift that they had. The last year for everyone has been tough mentally, as well as being locked in physically. So to have that was a sign of things coming back to normal, a sign of things improving, and a lot of our clients found that very positive, and they've taken that inspiration into their business. It's like when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. So that's what the spirit of this last recent trip was.
Fantastic. And so, I mean, obviously we're all looking for whatever the new definition of travel normal looks like. From your point of view, do you see some changes that are irreversible as opposed to just going back into this new normal? Or can you define that in your own words?
So I've traveled to 4 countries in the last 6 months. So Croatia, Montenegro, Bosnia, and Antigua, which is in the Caribbean. So I can talk from experience. When we went to Antigua, it was in January. It was post-Christmas. Yes, there was COVID. People were masked. But by and large, island people are quite happy, and they're not that worried. They weren't worried. They were very hospitable, and business was as usual. Secondly, I'd say lots of people go like, how did you go to Antigua? Well, here's the secret. Don't go by news headlines. Go see the list of how to travel on government website and look for exemptions. There's always a way. So while we were there were newspaper headlines on travel restrictions, etc. But there's always a way, as you can see, that even G7 was here. People are traveling in. If you have, there are depending on which country, there are ways you can travel in. In Croatia, people again, a huge amount of people rely on tourism. So they were very excited to see us there, especially from Britain, because they hadn't seen people from the UK there for a year or over. So they asked like, wow, how did you come in? Now, we had a lot of flights cancelled, direct flights from BA flights got cancelled. We had other EasyJet flights get cancelled, but we got a tip saying going via Amsterdam on KLM those flights aren't getting cancelled. So Marcus and I, we went there first and we tested it out. It was fine. Then we messaged everybody else to do that, and it worked out fine. So once we got there, yes, there is, you have to have, so there's a misconception saying that if you don't have vaccines, you can't travel. That's not true either. 50% of people on our rallies didn't have vaccinations. They went on antigen test or PCR test. As long as you have a negative PCR or antigen test, it's fine. Again, you need to go through the government website to see which countries have what restrictions. I think there's some countries like Malta who don't accept that, but majority of the countries, 90% of them at the moment, you can travel anywhere with PCR test or an antigen test. So you get there, you have a bit of paperwork on in the airport. Some of the airports went through it. Some of the other ones, like, they didn't even bother. So they look at it. They're like, yeah, that's fine. Are you healthy? Have you been sick? No. And let's carry on. I think they trust that people, if they're traveling, they've taken the required measures. When we went there, it was half as crowded as it was, or maybe even maybe 1/3 of what it was 2 years ago when we'd done our initial recce. So it's actually really nice. Everywhere they were very attentive. Hospitality was fantastic. Everywhere it was not too crowded. There weren't queues. Weather was fantastic. So that was great. People were friendly. They were happy to see tourism bounce back. So overall, it was a fantastic journey for us. I would say if you can get a chance to travel this July or August, take it, because we never know the world we live in, how things change. So you've got to seize the day.
Absolutely. You're dead right. In my own case, actually, I had my first PCR test and was negative on Friday. And unfortunately, poor old Lawrence, who's on the call, is now isolating because he failed his COVID test. So it's very real. There's no doubt about it. We have to be very careful. But if we are safe and we are responsible, then certainly the opportunity to travel is very important. Then finally, Darshana, and it's been brilliant to have you on the call. As somebody who's so wise about travel, there must be some little tips or hacks that you've picked up along the way you might be able to share with us.
Absolutely. So if you're traveling by a road, or you want to travel and look through places, but you don't have Wi-Fi in those countries, for instance, Montenegro, what I would recommend highly is downloading Google Maps. You can download them, and once they're downloaded, they work even when you're offline. So that's a really good travel test.
Imagine if you're driving a nice expensive car, it's probably very important to know which way you're going.
Exactly, so you don't run out of fuel. That's for sure. And for recent times, if you're going and you want a self-administered antigen test, what we found is medic.co.uk. They have one for about 47 or 49 pounds. It's fantastic. Just buy some of those, and so it's medicspot.co.uk. So you can get your antigen test from there. And very important, just don't go by the newspaper headlines. Look up the government website, do a little bit more research, and you'll find that traveling is not that hard. And lastly, if you don't have the time to do the research, go in for companies that can help you, like concierge companies, and what you guys are doing at Platinum Plus, etc. is great. So I believe that the world, if it was a book, traveling, for those who don't travel, they just read one page. So read as many pages as possible and explore.
Absolutely. No, listen, it's been really, really great to have you on the call. We look forward to getting the invite to Verve Rally, and we'll get those details out as part of our promotion. So, Darshana, thank you very much, and we look forward to talking again.
Thank you.